Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Cancer. If Cancer is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. All right, knock, 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 and here we go. Ooh, it looks like a big piece fell off here. All right. Okay, so let's see. What do we have going on? Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. Oh, and as you can see, we are in our full Halloween month, October set here. It's very vibrant. And hopefully you all enjoy it. I enjoyed putting it together. I'm sure it will move around a little bit as we go. Okay. And our card for today is the Eight of Cups. Indolence. This is a card of... I was kind of laugh. Oh no, more of them are falling off there. Okay. A card of kind of abandon, right? A bit of self-denial, walking away from things, giving control away to others. Although, come on, we're talking about Cancer. Let's be real. How often does that happen? Okay, let's see. Let's see what this has to do. This card has to do with what we're seeing here. Well, this first one I'm looking at is really interesting. It looks to me like a person who is kind of sitting over a pot that has flames below it. And the first thing that came to mind is kind of being put in the hot seat, really being kind of under fire a little bit. It seems like maybe the people in your life have really kind of been, I don't know, questioning you, getting involved in your business. Just really, I feel like there's almost kind of a confrontational energy. Okay. And it feels like, this is like spilling over into other aspects of your life. Things like maybe the work you're doing, you're feeling spiritually a little bit, unbalanced, and just a real feeling of, the heat rising. It's the boiling point is is coming soon, right? So how do we kind of deal with some of this stuff, this energy? What is helpful for you, Cancer, when you're feeling like this? I know that, for any of us, stress is something that is kind of the tipping point for all kinds of illness, emotional dysregulation, the kind of sometimes the catalyst for our relationships really suffering. So I think it's important that we figure out, like, what do we do when everything feels like it is just ramping up to be a little bit too much. And so we have the owl. Okay. So in this situation, usually I would say, okay, this is the watcher, kind of looking over your life. But I don't think that this is necessarily that. I think in this case, there is a sense of retreat into self, quieting, disengaging. Okay. I know that I have shared in some of my readings, I'm on a social media break. I do one every year, sometimes more than once a year. I do not plan to be using my social media until at least, I don't know, maybe spring, maybe later. Next year sometime. Maybe never again. Who knows? But of course I'm here on YouTube, and we do have, and I'm not trying to plug too much, but we do have the little Discord channel server thing. I don't know how to do all of that, so we have somebody who's going to be getting it all set up for us the way that it needs to be. And also shout out to Dove and Serpentero, my husband. He also has his Discord server going for his members. And so for mine over here, it's like just, whatever, the $2.99 membership. And then the Discord server is part of that. So that's the only place I'm at here, YouTube, and off of all social media. So I feel like this is kind of a vibe right now, getting off of these places where we are getting, just unnecessary advice, unnecessary interference, people from your life, somebody you went to, 5th grade with doesn't need to be telling you how to live your life on the internet, right? Sometimes, it's just a good time to step away, disengage. I also think that this is not an unnatural thing for Cancers to do anyways. It's kind of in your makeup to maybe kind of, I think of like that gif of Homer like backing up into the hedge, the trees and the leaves, and he disappears. Kind of that is a Cancer vibe for real. I think really just sitting back, gathering your wits, getting rid of some of that anxiety, focusing on things that are important to you, not having to exist, as an extension of a grouping of people, or, being kind of influenced by the energies, the life, the opinions of others right now, kind of just shutting that all down. And so I think, as I say all this, it feels like this is kind of, and I see these beings here in their little dresses, and I even see 2 people kind of together here. I have a feeling there's kind of a sense of going into those interior places, a time for a bit of escapism. I think that, under stress, your reprieve from reality, outside of the things you have to do, your responsibilities, are your deep interests, your passions, kind of disconnecting from all the extra stuff, and using distractive coping mechanisms, right? Which are not, there's nothing wrong with those. We think of distractions as, this is, taking away from the core work. Well, sometimes it's really important for us to have these things ready for ourselves, right? Knowing what we like to do when we need to kind of bring our anxiety down a notch. If we're starting to feel kind of emotional. I like to watch comedy stuff. I watch comedy podcasts. I watch stand-up. That's been something that I have, kind of leaned on in the last year or so. I like to watch movies. that match the vibe, you know, or listen to a lot of music. These things are, would probably be considered distractive escapism, but they're also coping mechanisms. They help me forget about the things that sneak into my mind and get me in a place where I'm feeling pretty, anxious. Hi, buddy. You got to come down. Say hello. Hello. Come on, Pudgy. You here to bless the reading? Yeah. Okay, now you got to get down, though, because I just set all this up, and I don't want it to all get knocked over, my friend. My darling. Oh, thank you. All right. So, what are those things for you? You know, I think that you already know. And I think that it's a good time to get into dive right in, okay? And honor your nature. You know, if you're somebody that likes to kind of be alone, you like to read your books, you like to write, do your art, play video games, I don't know, whatever it is. I'm trying to think of things. But there's nothing wrong with that. We don't all have to be out hiking mountains to get our release from our emotions. Although I will say, please do go outside and breathe some fresh air when you get a chance, and do some intentional movement to the level of your ability, right? These things are important as well. And, maybe go read your book in the park or whatever. But I see we have these, and this one's interesting because it looks like a person with a dog's head, which kind of a vibe of Anubis, but also right in the hand there is a little heart here, okay? So I feel that there is a, once we get out of that intense scrutiny kind of feeling, even if you are just if you're perceiving that this is what is going on, maybe it's not really that to that degree, but it feels like it. And if it feels like it, that's all that matters, right? It doesn't matter if it's real or not. Once we depart from that intense feeling, that oppressive feeling, we combat that indolence with actively seeking out our pleasures, our interests, the things that calm our heart and soul. And we have the heart right there. And I think that there is a very nice feeling of feeling kind of brought back down to earth a bit, okay? Now, we do have the two people up here. I feel like when you get into these places, this can be a zone of miscommunication in your close relationships. I think that you turn yourself off emotionally, or at least you maybe don't share a lot. I think that you aren't always forthright maybe about the things you are thinking or want to say, which is fine. But, depending on what kind of person you're dealing with here, like, for example, my husband is a Cancer. I'm a Virgo. I need to talk about everything. He just wants to usually, whatever, decompress. And, oh, okay, buddy, you got to get down, though. I know. I can't hold you right now. I'm sorry. I love you, though. Go on now. And so sometimes it can feel like, there's miscommunication, but we learn, right? We learn how people are. And when you're in this state where you don't want to talk things out, you need some time, that's what you have to say, right? I need to go, you know, whatever it is. In my mind, I decided, go paint my, those little, like, figurines that people paint. Like, what was it? There's some show where there was a guy that had like it was like a map of the Civil War maybe or something, and he had all these little tiny miniatures and he was hand painting them. And whenever whenever I saw that, I was like, that seems like a Cancer person for sure. Like, to have that much focus and drive to like set up this whole scene based on the notations of the battlefield and all the little details and stuff. So I imagine when you're feeling a little frazzled, you get off a long day of work, you know, you just want to calm down, drink a cup of tea, and paint your little miniatures in peace and quiet. And let's see, we also have kind of a teeter-totter here, okay? So I think that really that has so much to do with this relationship of the communication back and forth. Don't get stuck in that up and down, back and forth. I think that, you know, it's always about compromise. It's always about, sometimes you don't want to say anything. You just want to be left alone. Sometimes you have to compromise a little bit, give a little bit, and hopefully they will shut it down. Like myself. Sometimes I just keep talking. Just got to talk it to death, right? And sometimes I really have to compromise. I got to go do something else. Completely get out of the situation. So I don't keep talking about it. Okay. And then we have, and this is to the side here, we have the same on that. Let's go over here. This guy looks like he's cooking. He's sitting. He has his feet kind of, and I'm using the he pronouns. It does not have to be a man. But it almost looks like a hat, like a chef's hat, kind of sitting. I wonder if you shouldn't get in the kitchen and if you don't cook, maybe learn how to do something new. Do a little recipe. If you do like to cook, if you are kind of a home chef or a professional chef, maybe a nice time to go and cook one of the things that you really love to make. You know, I have talked a lot on here about I love to cook. It's one of my favorite things in the whole world. It's what I did when I went into recovery from, you know, substance abuse. And I taught myself how to cook. I had no idea what I was doing, but I have slowly learned. And almost 10 years on, I'm not going to say that I'm like a Michelin star cook or chef by any means, but I know how to do a few things, and I really enjoy being in there in the kitchen. And, you know, if that's not your thing, then maybe it is something akin to... you know, I don't know, maybe you like to bake or make candles or, you know, whatever it is. I think the point really is to do something that you can enjoy. And if it's edible, I mean, gosh, that is a plus, isn't it? So, let's see. We have this big old glob that fell. And I want to kind of rotate this guy here. Oh, shoot. I just spilled tea all over my new... Oops. Okay, so... kind of looks like a rabbit. But kind of like standing. Let's look at it from this point. this side. A rabbit with he's kind of standing. They are kind of standing and pointing. We also have 2 eyes, and down here it looks like we have a bit of a comet maybe. And so I feel like we are obviously in the year of the rabbit still, the water rabbit, okay? And I feel that there is a sense of abundance in allowing yourself to do what you need to do, okay? When you kind of venture outside of, it's not necessarily your comfort zone, but when you venture outside of the world you have built for yourself, which is good. We all need to kind of do that once in a while. I feel like you get easily depleted of your kind of vital energies. I think that you're one of those people, you're around people for, a few hours, it's loud, everybody's talking, you are absolutely worn out by it. You have to go home and like recharge for like a week, right? So I think that, this is a time, and this really, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere, we're going into those darker days. This is a time that we naturally kind of go into our homes. We spend more time maybe away from the crowds of people. Everything's a little bit quieter, a little bit slower. You move with more intentionality. I remember telling my therapist one time, I love winter because every time I leave my house, it is with the greatest intention. I do not just get in the car and go riding around in a snowstorm. I do not, it's very cold. So if I decide I need to go get something, I have everything planned. And that makes me feel a little safer. And it makes me feel like I am involved more with the steps of my life to some degree, right? I'm not just out there wandering all the time. And although, the summer months are good for wandering, of course. The spring is good for wandering. But the winter, at least where I live, there is a sense of deep intention. Always, right? And so we also have the eyes. Again, we have this feeling of watching, of being watched. And so, the only thing I can say about this is, maybe set some like psychic self security, safety measures, talisman, creating a boundary around yourself psychically, and so on. Okay. We also have a comment that to me makes it seem as if something important is going to go flying through the skies of your life. Something beautiful, hopefully not destructive, but you never know. You never know. So we'll have to see next time what is that comment? Is it just gonna pass? Or is this gonna be the thing that got all the dinosaurs? And that was a meteor, I think, not a comet. Okay, so we have the Divine Door cards. You know me, I love the doors, and having a deck of doors with sacred sayings on the back. I like it. I love it. Couldn't get any better than that. So I'm just gonna stop where it feels right. Ooh, I haven't looked at this one yet. All right, that one looks like a mouth. It reminds me of Hellmouth, but it's not. It's flowers. Looks like a mouth, and then this one looks like a face as well. A mouth within a mouth. Okay, it says intuition, simple, complex, words of pain or words that heal, you come to know truth by the way that it feels. 100%. You know, we just know, right? And it might not always be exactly what we think, but we know when something is wrong, right? Or something doesn't feel right. And we know when we are in the right place, when everything is aligned the way that we hope it to be. All right, Cancer, I'm going to say thank you, thank you, thank you. It is always such a pleasure to be able to bring these messages to you. If you'd be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. And as we know, the algorithm kind of decides everything about everything. And so we give it the engagement that it wants, and those are things like liking the video, sharing the video on other social media platforms, watching the readings from the beginning to the end. Of course, you don't have to do any of these things. I just like to mention them in case you want to support the channel in some way. Other than that, if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And if you want to leave a comment, please do. And like I said, we have the Discord. I only mention that because we just decided to add those to the thing, and so that we can have more engagement with our communities. And I keep saying we because I'm talking about my husband and his channel, Dove and Serpent Tarot. But yeah, you know, it's just like a little added perk. And I still read all the comments. So if you want to reach me there, I will get back to you. Okay. I thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will talk in just a few days. Love you.